What's up, metalheads? My name's Jamie. This is the Blades and EDC channel. Thank you guys so much for being here. I really do appreciate it. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button for me. Alright, let's jump right into it. Today we're going to take a look at the Civivi Durus. This is a discontinued model that is still currently in stock of White Mountain Knives. They have three different versions. They have an orange version, a brown version, and a gray version. This is what I'd call a chunker. It's a shorter knife, but it's wide and tall and hand filling. You got a nice finger choil there. Very interesting knife. Reminds me a bit of the Civivi Backlash, which I'm going to show you in a minute, and the Praxis, which I no longer have here. It was sold in the last knife sale. So cool. The star of the show with this knife is this blade. Got deep hollow grind on this blade, very deep hollow grind. Let me give you the specs real quick, and then we'll do some size comparisons. Okay, overall length on this knife is only 6.88 inches. The blade length is 3 inches. The cutting edge is going to be quite a bit less than that. I haven't measured the cutting edge, but the 3 inches comes to here, so it's probably like 2.5, maybe somewhere in that range, maybe a little more. D2 steel. The handles are G10 on all three versions. The weight is 3.7 ounces. It is a liner lock with a reversible pocket clip, left or right hand, deep tip up only. Does have an interesting looking backspacer in there with a lanyard hole. I like the way they match the orange. Same G10 from the scales. It looks pretty good, even though I'm not a big fan of lanyards. But it does look pretty good. Great action. Great action for a little knife. Let's go ahead and do some size comparisons real quick. Let me wipe my fingerprints off that hollow grind. Trying to feel how deep it is. Trying to get in there deep, you know what I mean? And left my DNA all over it. Alright, so let's take a look at the Civivi Backlash here. I will have 2 Civivi Backlashes in the next knife sale, by the way. I'm going to wipe that down one more time. Make it pretty. Make it pretty. But yeah, the blade shape with the hollow grind and everything, I don't know, it gives me vibes of the Backlash. I think they could have done something like this on the blade with some jimping instead of taking that swedge all the way. I think that would have benefited this knife personally, but it's not bad the way it is. Quite a bit smaller than a Backlash. Here's a Civivi Elementum. So almost identical in length to Elementum, but much chunkier. It's a chunker for sure. As you can see, it's quite a bit thicker than an Elementum. By that full scale thickness there, thicker. And this knife is much wider. So the hollow grind, man, that hollow grind is so deep on this knife. This thing's going to be a slicer. It's going to slice for days. Let's go ahead and give you a couple more size comparisons here. Here's the Civivi Odium. So quite a bit smaller than Odium. What else we got here? We can do, how about the Kaiser Feist? Quite a bit smaller than the Feist. Let's go ahead and stick to Kaisers for the time being. We'll do the mini beg lighter. A little bit shorter than a mini bag glider. We'll do the mini sheepdog by Kaiser. This knife is going to land right in between the mini sheepdog and the regular sheepdog as far as size goes. Thickness wise, it's a hair thicker than the full size sheepdog, not by much though. Quite a bit thicker than the mini sheepdog, but even, yeah, it's a bit half a scale thicker than the full-size sheepdog. That's what makes it so good in hand, is how thick it is. It feels really good in hand. What else we got out here? We'll do the wee banter. Oh, we got another Kaiser we can do. Although most people may not own this knife. Just got to show this thing off while I have it here. Kaiser Fire Ant, one of their older models. Such a good knife. They should make this knife again. They really should make this knife again and put a hollow grind on this knife. Oh, so good, so good, so good. Let's go ahead and do some Spydercos. Get some Spyderco love going on here. how about the let's get Kaiser in the brain. Spyderco Yojimbo 2, quite a bit shorter than the Yojimbo 2. And how about the Schmock? Quite a bit shorter than the Schmock also. How about the, this is one you haven't seen much of. How about the Spyderco Caribbean? I think it's ugly as hell, or the scales are ugly as hell, but man, I love the shape of the knife and the shape of that blade. My goodness. Somebody should start making scales for this knife, because man, it's such a good knife. It's so lightweight for how big it is. How about the Spyderco Manix? Listen to this sound on the open. Tink. The Manix 2, quite a bit smaller than both of those. Let's get back down to something closer to its size here. What do we got? I think the pair of 3 is going to be closer to it in size. Spyderco pair of 3. Yeah, that's much closer. Pair of 3 is a hair longer. Not by much though. Let's do the Wee Roxy 3. And we'll go ahead and do my favorite knife at the moment. The Urban EDC F5.5. It's actually a very good size comparison also. As far as the length. And it's actually almost as thick as the Durus, but not quite. Durus got a little, it's a little thicker than this too by about a half of a scale. So this is very ergonomic for a smaller knife. Very, very ergonomic. I love the way it feels in hand. And this, oops, bumped the light. This knife, very ergonomic too. Feels really good in hand. It completely fills your hand. I have a medium-sized hand. I can get all 4 fingers on there, and there's a little bit sticking out here. But when you choke up here, man, it's so good. So good. One thing I don't like about it is how this swedge is here. Because when I choke up here, anyone chokes up here in the forward finger choil, you're going to put your thumb out here, right? It doesn't hurt your thumb, but if you were to be doing extended cutting with it, it would become very uncomfortable with how they've done this swedge on top. I think it would look better if it didn't have a swedge and you could add some jimping and it would function better. Or at least take some jimping out to here and get rid of the swedge enough to leave you a little jimping there. I think that would definitely benefit this knife, but this knife isn't bad at all. These are just personal nitpicks. Access to the liner is pretty good. It has some, they have put some jimping on there, so you have no problem getting traction to it. Very easy to disengage the lock. It locks up strong. Very tight. I have not lubed this knife. I can tell, there went my flashlight. I can tell this knife needs a drop or two. We're going to drop a drop or two of 2 drops of Pro Shot Zero Friction in here. Great thing about this stuff too, cheaper than KPL by a long shot. 3 times as much as you get in a bottle of KPL for half the price of 1 bottle of KPL. Do the math. Works every bit as good. I love this needle. You can get a little drop there in the end, and you don't have to put too much in there. Get that drop there and just boop, let it come off. Do the same thing on this side, let it all come out. Just let it fall right there. And we'll move that blade around a little bit. I think it's going to become much more drop shot. It's extremely smooth as is, but I can tell it's a little dry in the pivot. Let's just get some of that lube in there. Lube her up. There we go. I feel how much better it got almost instantly. Yeah, great detent on this knife too. With that swedge, it's hard to grab the blade. Extremely good detent. Yeah, excellent detent on this knife. The light switch works extremely well. The push button, it works well, but it's not very comfortable because of the shape of this flipper. Kind of comes to a point right there, and then it's round here, so you got to hit it on that point to push button it. Much better to light switch this knife, for sure. Definitely go with the light switch on this one. Pretty cool knife, guys. And these run on White Mountain Knives. They're discontinued at the moment, but still in stock, just so you know. And they run $71. And I do have a discount code there, 10% off using BEDC10. So if you pick one up, use that code, get you 10% off. And I don't know what it does for me, but lets them know that people are watching my videos. So maybe they will send me some knives to check out or something. So time will tell. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button. And if you have one of these, comment below. Let me know what you think about it. See you guys on the next one.